You thought no contact was the end of the story, didn't you? You blocked their number, deleted their photos, maybe even changed your entire routine to avoid running into them. You felt powerful, in control, like you'd finally taken back your life. But here's what nobody tells you about no contact. It's not the destination. It's barely even the beginning. Right now, you might be sitting there feeling proud of yourself for making it this far. Maybe it's been weeks, maybe months since you cut them off completely. You've probably had people congratulate you, tell you how strong you are, how you're finally doing what's best for yourself. And they're right. You are strong. But if you think the hard work is over, you're setting yourself up for a painful awakening. The truth is, most people use no contact, like a band-aid on a broken bone. They think that by simply removing the other person from their life, they've solved the problem. But what they don't realize is that the real problem was never just about that person. It was about the patterns, the wounds, the parts of themselves that allowed toxic dynamics to take root in the first place. Think about it. How many times have you seen someone go no contact with a toxic ex, only to find themselves in the exact same situation with someone new 6 months later? How many times have you watched friends cut off family members or friends, feeling triumphant for a while, only to slowly drift back into the same painful cycles? This happens because no contact without inner work is like painting over mold. It might look better on the surface, but the rot is still there, waiting to spread. Here's what's really happening during your no contact period and why most people fail to use it effectively. You think you're healing, but you're actually just numbing. You think you're moving on, but you're actually just avoiding. You think you're growing stronger, but you're actually just building higher walls. The silence feels good at first, doesn't it? No more constant arguments, no more emotional roller coasters, no more wondering what they're thinking or doing. But after a while, something strange starts to happen. You begin to romanticize what you had. You start remembering the good times more vividly than the bad ones. You catch yourself wondering if maybe you overreacted, if maybe things weren't really that bad. This is where most people break. They convince themselves that enough time has passed, that surely both parties have learned and grown. They reach out with a casual text just to see how things are going, and before they know it, they're right back where they started, sometimes in an even worse position than before. But what if I told you that this urge to reconnect isn't a sign that you should break no contact? What if it's actually your psyche trying to tell you something much more important? What if it's pointing you toward the real work that needs to be done? Here's the uncomfortable truth. The person you cut contact with was never really the problem. They were a symptom. They were a mirror reflecting back your own unhealed wounds, your own unmet needs, your own unconscious patterns. And until you address those deeper issues, no amount of distance will truly set you free. This is why so many people find themselves in cycles of no contact and reconnection, or moving from one toxic relationship to another. They're trying to solve an internal problem with external solutions. It's like trying to fix a leak in your roof by constantly mopping the floor. You might keep the mess under control temporarily, but you're never actually addressing the source. So what does real healing during no contact actually look like? It starts with getting brutally honest about your own role in the dynamic. Not to blame yourself, but to empower yourself, because the only person you can actually change is you. Ask yourself these difficult questions. What did this person give you that you couldn't give yourself? What needs were they meeting, even if they were meeting them in unhealthy ways? What parts of yourself did you abandon or compromise to maintain the connection? What patterns from your past were you repeating? Maybe they made you feel special and chosen, filling a void left by childhood neglect. Maybe they provided excitement and drama that distracted you from deeper feelings of emptiness or depression. Maybe they allowed you to play the role of rescuer or victim, roles that felt familiar and comfortable even when they were destructive. The point isn't to judge yourself for having these needs. We all have them. The point is to recognize them so you can start meeting them in healthier ways. Because until you do, you'll keep attracting people who exploit these unmet needs, or you'll break no contact and return to someone who already knows exactly how to manipulate them. Real no contact isn't just about blocking someone on social media. It's about blocking the internal narratives that made the toxic dynamic possible in the first place. It's about severing the energetic cords that keep you tethered to unhealthy patterns. It's about mourning not just the relationship, but the versions of yourself that you maintained to keep the relationship alive. This process is messy and uncomfortable. It means sitting with feelings you've been avoiding for years. It means questioning beliefs about love and relationships that you've held since childhood. It means facing the possibility that some of the stories you've been telling yourself about who you are and what you deserve aren't actually true. But here's what happens when you do this deeper work. You stop needing no contact as a protective barrier and start choosing it as a conscious boundary. You stop feeling like a victim of circumstances and start feeling like the author of your own story. You stop attracting people who need to be cut off and start attracting people who enhance your already complete life. The people who successfully transform their lives during no contact aren't the ones who white-knuckle their way through missing someone. They're the ones who use the space and silence to excavate the gold buried in their pain. They're the ones who ask not just, how do I avoid this person, but how do I become someone who would never tolerate this treatment in the first place? So if you're in a no-contact period right now, I want you to shift your focus. Stop counting the days since you last spoke to them. Stop monitoring their social media through friends or fake accounts. Stop waiting for the day when you won't care anymore, because that day might never come, and that's okay. Instead, start asking yourself what this experience is trying to teach you. Start exploring the wounded parts of yourself that this person activated. Start building a relationship with yourself that's so fulfilling, so complete, that toxic people naturally fall away from your orbit because there's simply no space for them anymore. No contact isn't about them. It never was. It's about you reclaiming your power, your peace, and your ability to choose love that doesn't hurt. But that only happens when you stop using it as an escape and start using it as an opportunity for the deepest, most transformative work of your life. The question isn't whether you can maintain no contact. The question is whether you can use this sacred space to become someone who no longer needs it.